So that turned out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. So how hard was it? Well, you go back and have a look at what I did there to make that happen like that. Again, it's a series of simple steps and a small palette, not too many colours, a couple of brushes. I finished off with this brush here, a liner brush, but most of it was done with a fan brush. So it just shows you that if you keep it simple, you can actually get things done. It's more about controlling the tools you've got and controlling the colours that you're going to work with. The more colours you've got, the more complications and the more problems you're going to have. Let me just say that. The more brushes you're going to use, the more complications you're introducing into the process. And we don't need to do that. We really don't. We need to keep it as simple as we can. So when I explain how I've done this, I'll break it down into the 3 steps again. But you can, it's basically the same thing. It's deciding on what your palette's going to be, and then saying, okay, what's a wave consist of? What is it? It's a series of shapes. And then it's a process of building into those shapes. Blocking them in first, then giving them a 3-dimensional aspect, a look. And then finishing it off, tinkering around with highlights and getting those little throbs of light bouncing around where you want them. So that the end result is basically what you want. A dynamic, energised scene of a wave rolling over at the sunset moment. And that's what that is. Hope you enjoyed it. So the first thing I do is shape in the waves. And you can see that I've got some big strong curves in that, bouncing up, eating its way into the sky, that nice orangey sky and yellow sky. And I've used that silver, which is your cobalt blue, and a little bit of alizarin to give you that look of where the shapes are and what's going to form up. And I'm using some deep blue there, some cobalt blue, and then some even darker blue to firm up the shapes. And that's the first step we do. We get our shapes right. And I love to play around with shapes in paintings because it's one of the things that we have that we can do in our own way to create our own sort of footprint of what we're going to paint. Just before I go on with that, this is one of the magic parts here. I'm putting in that glow area in that wave. I'm using a little bit of cadmium red light and some turquoise, and then I'm pushing that down into the bottom part of the wave. So we're picking up green, and that translucent green will find its way up to the yellow in the top of that wave as it rolls over and eventually collapses. But it's that little section in there that's where the magic is. And you can see it already, it's coming up there. It's what wave is all about. And that's what we can do as an artist. If you get the light right and the shape right, the rest almost paints itself. And that's what I've done here. The shape came first, and then the light. At the moment, we're sitting in all the shadow areas. We haven't really started to use much light yet. But as the sunlight passes through water, it creates this translucent green. And if we get this right, the whole wave begins to feel alive. And it is looking alive there. As I touch these highlights, I'm picking it up with that fan brush, and I'm just going to clip areas here and there on the top. I've got a reference photo over there that I'm sort of manipulating, and I've changed a whole lot about, but I'm picking up the ideas from that. I'm using the behaviour of light in the photograph to tell me where this goes in the creation I'm doing now. Clearly it comes from the sun, and how that meets the water and how it behaves and what effect it has is really up to what we choose to do with that information. So I want to create a power painting, a power wave. I want to make the wave feel alive. I want to make it feel like it's there and it's doing what we want it to do. It rises, it curls, and it collapses. and then it pushes its way up the beach. And that's the mechanics of what goes on. And as artists, what we've got to do is break down, reverse engineer basically a wave, and look at what is going on. Understand the dynamics of water as it rolls up a beach, as it hits a barrier. What does it actually do? So we need to sit at the beach and look at these things. And in that way, we'll understand the mechanics and the engineering of what's going on. We look at how waves splash, how it lifts, and what happens. How those little drops, they fly into the air like little explosions. And we've got to work out how we can do that with a brush. Do we use just a one-head brush and drop little dots everywhere? Or can I do it with a fan brush? Well, you can do it with a fan brush. And looking at underneath that wave now and back into that little area there, that's what I want to push hard on this painting. That's what I want to do. One thing I've got to say here is the background's important, because we're dealing with basically cold colours in this wave. And sitting on top of those cold colours are all our warm colours. And so there's a natural complement going on in here. There's a natural synergy going between two sets of colours, one warm, one cold. And they both give magic to each other. They both impart a special feeling to the painting. Of course, at the top of the painting, we got that blue up there, and that sort of echoes the blue in the wave itself. And that foam we're putting in there, that's just broken light. We need to put that in because it just builds up the whole painting. I'm pretty sure after I do this one, I'm going to do more of these paintings, because I just love the control we've got over what's happening. Once we establish what we want to do, look, see how actually look at that painting, and it looks like an arrow going straight across. So we come in, the eye comes in from the left-hand side. It comes into from that foam area, then it finds a hole being created in the first curl over of the wave, some deep in there, and there's a little bit of yellow coming through there and green, and then we find the bigger wave lifting up and rolling over, and as it does, that water thins and it creates those striations I'm putting in now. They're all marks that tell us what's going on. And when we look at the beach, we see all that. And so we try and paint what we see, if we can remember most of it, but we know that works. We know that that's how it goes. As that water rises, it draws these lines up. It can be grains of sand, it can be thickness of that wall of water that does that. But either way, we have that look. That's where the magic happens, right in there, right in that hole, right basically in the middle of the painting, basically under the sun. I've got to tie the wave to the sky now. So I'm just finding little bits of light that I can use. That's the same light that I've got on the waves, that same sort of strength. I'm clicking those clouds with a little bit of that just to tie it to the wave. So we haven't got two divorced areas in the painting. We've got two partner areas that have got part of each other and behaving in a way that reinforces each other. The palette I used was just a simple one again. This has got turquoise, which I only touched to create that translucent green. I've got some cadmium yellow light, and then yellow ochre, cobalt blue, and alizarin. And so it's basically the same palette, except for the turquoise, as the sky. So if we stay with set colours, a small palette, we've got a chance of getting a painting to behave the way we want it to, not end up with a mud heap. The more tubes of paint, the more colours you have, the greater likelihood that you'll throw yourself off a cliff. It'll just turn into a mud heap and you'll be so disenchanted with the whole painting thing that you'll just give it up. Well, I don't want you to give it up. That's why I'm keeping down to a small palette and just one brush. We get to know that and we can do these sort of paintings. I'll do more of these wave paintings. I actually don't do many, but I sort of like what's happened here, and I think it might be just enough to get you painting as well. Just little bits of light here and there, that all adds to it, tying it together, tying the clouds to the water. There's got to be a balance in light, there's got to be a balance in weight, there's got to be a balance in colour. So we now fine-tune that balance. We bring the parts together by using accents here and there, dots and dashes. It's not a bad painting. Well, I keep on finding little things to do there, so I'm not over yet. But it's all about light and dark and little values that work. More light, more touches, more dots, more dashes, more things that keep on tying the top to the bottom. It's all got to be one unit. And there we are. So I'm going to do more of these, so I hope you return and follow me a little bit, because let's see what else we can do with these. And I'll come up with one way of doing a real simple wave that I can share with you as well. Hope you enjoyed it.